Jonny is still in London today. Jonny, I know it was a shock at the time, but a few days on, how are you feeling now about it all?
Yeah, I guess it's settled now. Obviously, it was a big shock from the second week to be leaving the show. But you know, I'd literally had the most incredible time, and the reaction has been one of the most humbling and heartwarming things that I think I've ever experienced. And people's support and love and messages from that's kind of what I've been sort of reading through and just digesting over the last few days. It's just people's the reaction's been incredible, and I can only take away from that as an incredible thing to just sort of know that people enjoyed what you did on the show, enjoyed you as a person, enough to message to say, you know, we support you and are looking forward to you to see what you do next. So, yeah. You know, it's a big thing to, obviously, you're living in a sort of live show scenario. You're busy, you're constantly thinking about, you know, the next week, or you're thinking about what you're about to do. Because, you know, whilst in the preparation for that week, they asked you to sort of plan the next week, obviously just in case it goes through. So when you're in that sort of circle of it, you're always thinking ahead. And so obviously when you step out of that, I know I'm a little bit run down this week. I feel a little bit like I've, you know, the winter cold is settling in now, because I've just stopped now and everything's just gone and shut down. So, but no, I've literally had an amazing time. Everyone on the show was so lovely.
And you got some great feedback, particularly in the first week after that first performance, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, especially after getting the chair in the first week, which came completely out of the blue. Obviously, then the juxtaposition of that to then turning out what happened in the second week was, yeah, it was a big thing to digest. But you know, I thought in the moment I'd sort of read a lot of the reactions as being, you know, critical or anything, and I watched the whole night back, and actually, I think I was just putting on my own sort of personal filter. Yeah, I watched it back, and even Simon's comments were, you know, he was picking up and he was like, Jonny, I love you and love what you do and stuff, but he just thought maybe this week it did this. And, you know, in a competition sense, you want those sorts of comments so that you can go through to the next week and have something to work on.
Of course.
And that's why I said to him at that point, you know, I was like, look, I actually, thinking back on what I've done this week, I take all of that into account. And yeah, I do actually, to a certain extent, really agree with you. And you know, Simon, you know, it's Simon Says basically on the show. He's got such an incredible experience as a judge that he knows what works and what doesn't work. And although he gets, you know, he's like the Craig Revel Hallwood of Strictly, if you will. You know, although he gets the boos from the audience, at the end of the day, they're right, you know, in their critical opinions, because they're giving constructions. So I was hoping to take that through, obviously, into the third week. But at the end of the day, it's a competition, and yeah, the people voted, and I've literally taken away some incredible things from it, and the team that you work with are amazing. So
I can imagine you had so much support back here in the Channel Islands from friends and family. What's your message to them?
Yeah, but no one could download the app. My mum was going mad. She said, we can't get the app in the Channel Islands. That means no one could vote.
Because they needed to vote. They need to download the app in order to vote.
And
so people were struggling.
There was a whole new thing that they were introducing, this app to vote. And the app was brilliant. If you go on the app, it really keeps you invested, and you've got questions about everyone. You know, so what they're doing with that is really clever. But it did mean that there was a certain demographic of the audience that might have watched, that might have voted, or just would be used to watching the shows and voting from their home and be used to that. Suddenly you take that. So I suppose it did change up how the night ran. But the support and love from Jersey is always amazing. It's so funny, because it's like, you know, every single job, people are always so intrigued as to how you've come from such a small place to doing anything really, and I'm still thinking like that. You know, I'd never thought in a million years that, well, it came in stages really. I never thought that I'd get into the college that I went into. I never thought that I'd then do EastEnders, and then, you know, doing a West End show and things like that. And just every time it happens, and all the support from the island, it always takes you back to being like, I've come from such a tiny place in the world, and London seemed like such a scary place that you have to like take it all back. And actually, I met a producer on ITV that works in Jersey.
Oh wow, small world.
So
Small
we
world.
were chatting, and every single time you meet anyone in the industry who's from the Channel Islands or knows the Channel Islands, it's like an instant thing, you know. It's like it's like meeting a diabetic, a fellow diabetic, you know. You just instantly, you're like brother. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like
an instant connection. Well, listen, we absolutely loved watching you on The X Factor and thought you were a complete star. You are our star. Jonny Labey, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you.